Well, that was a very tough one to witness right there for the Phillies tonight as they lose 4-1 to the Oakland Athletics in the final game of this 3-game set. The offense went quiet. The offense went really quiet in this game. And yeah, it was very, very tough to see. The weather conditions definitely were not the best for baseball today. What, it was like 40-something degrees and it was windy all over the place. And the offense, yeah, just died. And granted, throughout this game, like, I really don't want to blame a game. I'm not blaming this entire game on the umpire, Ben May, but his strike zone was just so goddamn atrocious, literally for both sides. Like, you would be in the opponent's batter's box and he was calling a strike, or basically the very next pitch in that same exact location, he would then call the ball. So the Phillies' approach today, it kind of felt like they were, swinging at everything. But then granted, there were a lot of hits today where the Phillies had a lot of hard hits, and they just got very unlucky because the wind either killed it or it just went right to an outfielder. And the A's made good plays defensively. You give them credit for that too. They made some good plays defensively. So there are a lot of things to go over with this game, definitely, because you got Zack on the mound. He goes 4 innings. He got stretched out a little bit there. And granted, he didn't go as many innings as the previous 2 nights because he started spring training a little bit later than the other guys. So that was a little bit expected from that standpoint. I wouldn't say the pitching was terrible in this game yet. Bailey Falter got roughed up in, the 3rd inning of his outing. Then Damon Jones in that 9th inning allowed a couple of runs there. So I'm not going to fully blame it on the pitchers, because at the end of the day, 3 hits, it's not going to win you a ball game, and only scoring 1 run is not going to win you a ball game. But I'm not going to overreact like most Philadelphia fans do that treat every single sport like it's the National Football League. It's a 162 game season for a reason. Not going to overreact. It's 1 game. You're going to have your duds. I know it sadly it happens early in the season, but you're going to have your duds. It's going to happen. You're going to expect it. They're not going to bop I said this yesterday. They're not going to bop every single game. You're going to have your duds. And sadly, yes, it did happen today. A little bit of unluckiness, a little bit of, maybe trying to be more patient. And the umpire just was flat out atrocious in this game. But before we get into everything with this Phillies loss today, what is going on, everyone? And welcome back to TTP Sports. The most important thing you can do if you are looking for the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, this is the place to be at, depending on the outcome, great or miserable, depending on that outcome. I would recommend you hitting that subscribe button and also dropping a like on that like button as well. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I'm grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTP Sports down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So if you want to grab some tickets to this upcoming Phillies Mets series this week, definitely there you go. Can't pass that up. Get yourself some Sixers playoff tickets. Put yourself through a Flyers game if you want to, and when Eagles come back, can't pass up $20 in your pocket. Use that for parking, use that for concessions, anything you can think of. Can't pass up that deal. Use the code TTP Sports for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So the Phillies dropped this final game of the 3-game set with the Oakland Athletics to start off the season by a score of 4-1. Like I said, the offense went very, very quiet today, only getting 3 hits and scoring their only run in the 9th inning, which was a Gene Segura home run to lead off that 9th inning. So you were kind of thinking to yourself, okay, Gene Segura leads off the inning with a bomb. Maybe it could spark some guys in that bench. Maybe you can get them a little bit going. And sadly, it didn't happen. Bryce Harper got very unlucky today with a couple of his hits. Got robbed by Biscotti in right field, and it basically just had a hard hit right to center field, and it went right to Pache. So it was just one of those games where basically you just could not catch a break with all the hits that you had in this game. And basically, it happened even early on in this game as well. The Phillies had, I'm looking at this on Twitter, this is from Nathan Ackerman. He says that the Phillies had exit velocities today of 96, 103, 107, 109, and 113. That's just unlucky. And basically, all of those hits went to the outfielders, or they just made very nice plays out there for the Oakland A's. Tony Kemp out in shortstop robbed Rhys Hoskins of a hit as well. Could have gone through the hole. He robbed them there. And yeah, the Phillies did have their share of base runners as well. And maybe, didn't have the best at bats. Bryson Stott let one, go right down the middle of the plate. Then he grounded into a force out, which could have been a double play, but he did hustle it out right there. The first Phillies hit of this ball game was a bunt single by Garrett Stubbs, which allowed you to get 2 runners on base right there for Matt Vierling. Then he grounds into a double play. So, yeah, basically, I would say it's not the best approach in this game by the batters, especially during that situation by Matt Vierling when you have 2 runners on in that instance and you ground into a double play. You need to find ways to score runs. And sadly, today, the Phillies just did not have it. They did not have it whatsoever. Kyle Schwarber, same thing in his approaches, popped up a couple of times on the first pitch of the at-bat. So yeah, their approach definitely today was not the best, and I'm definitely not the biggest fan of the approach that they had today. But at the end of the day as well, when you have Brian May literally calling strikes that are completely outside the plate and then calling balls when they're right down the middle. Seriously, he had a pitch that was during one of the Phillies at bats where the ball was literally right down the heart of the plate and he called it a ball. And then there was a pitch literally in the other batter's box and he called it a strike. Literally, his strike zone was just completely goddamn garbage all game long for both teams. And like I said, I don't want to blame the umpires for a loss. And like, it's not a blaming for the loss; it's a factor into the loss because I feel like that kind of got into the Phillies' heads a little bit, just because you don't know what's going to be called a strike and you don't know what's going to be called a ball with this guy's strike zone. So maybe at the end of the day, you got to swing at everything and hope you get lucky. And granted, the Phillies did get unlucky; they had a couple of good rips today. Oakland just made some better plays in the outfield. So looking through the pitching staff today for the Phillies, Zack, I thought he was pretty good today. He got into a couple of jams. One of those jams actually was a bases loaded situation, and it was just a line ball right back to him, and he made the catch, and he turned a double play, and he got out of that inning without allowing any runs. So that was a great thing right there by Zack. He was also getting, I would say, screwed over a little bit with the strike zone. His pitch count got a little high because, the umpire just didn't want to call strikes early in this ball game. When they're right on the black, when he's throwing dots that should be called strikes and he's not calling them. So yeah, it was one of those situations. Zack goes 4 innings in this game, throws 68 pitches. Like I said, he started spring training a little late, just coming off of that surgery that he had in the offseason. So he's not as stretched out as guys like Gibson was, like Nola is. Probably you're going to see the same thing tomorrow with Ranger Suarez. He started spring training a little late as well, so he's probably not going to be as stretched out as the other guys too. So maybe you only see him go 5 innings, maybe 6 innings at best if the pitch count is low. So 4 innings, 2 hits allowed, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a solid outing out of Zack Eflin. Bailey Falter comes in. He gets the loss for a couple of innings there. He goes 2 1/3 innings, allows 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and allows a home run as well. I don't think Bailey Falter was terrible. I think it looks worse because the Phillies didn't put any offense. Like I said, I don't think the pitching was terrible this game. Basically, 4 runs allowed in the offense just went dead. I feel like that. I'm not going to fully blame the pitching. Yeah, Bailey Falter does need to be better. He left a hanging curveball out there for one of the solo bombs that was hit in this ball game by the Athletics, by McKinney. So yeah, allowed a couple of base runners there as well and allowed an RBI single. So there you go. It was just timely hitting by the Athletics, and sadly, the Phillies did not get that as well today. Connor Brogdon comes in during that 7th inning for Bailey Falter, pitches 2/3, gets the last 2 outs of that, only allows a hit, and he strikes out 1. I thought Connor Brogdon looked pretty solid there. Damon Jones comes in for the final 2 innings in this ball game, goes 2 innings, allows 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Looked really good in the 8th, and then he got squared up a little bit in the 9th inning, and he allowed a couple of runs there. But like I said, I'm not going to fully blame the pitching in this game. The offense was basically more to blame in this game. Kyle Schwarber in this game goes over 4 with a couple of pop-ups on the first pitch, struck out as well. Gene Segura goes 1 for 4 with the lone RBI in this game. That's the solo shot, and he's batting .364 on the season, so he's off to a hot start. Bryce Harper, like I said, he got a little bit unlucky in this game as well. Had a couple of hard hit balls that just went right to the outfielders, and one of them was a great play by Stephen Piscotty. So Bryce Harper just got a little bit unlucky right there, and he's off to a slow start this season, batting .091. But Bryce Harper is a professional. He'll get out of that slump eventually. I'm not worried about Bryce Harper whatsoever. Nick Castellanos, he goes 0 for 4 with 1 strikeout in this game. He had one of those hits where it was just completely hit hard as ever, and the ball just died because of the wind. So that was one of those situations. Rhys Hoskins, same thing. He had a couple of hard hit balls. Tony Kemp made a great play, and one of them just died because of the wind. So he goes 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Bryson Stott, he goes over 3 in this ball game as well. Johan Camargo in his first game this year, he made a couple of nice defensive plays as well. He goes 1 for 2 with a walk in this game, so a decent game for Johan Camargo. Garrett Stubbs gets the catching duties for this game. He goes 1 for 2 with that bunt single early in the ball game. JT Realmuto eventually came in to pinch hit in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it was one of those situations. JT swung at the first pitch and he flew out. So basically, thank you for showing up, JT, at that situation. Matt Vierling, he goes over 2. He still has yet to record a hit in this season, and he also got a walk to start off there. So, like I said, it's just one of those situations. It's one like what Vince says right here. Good old Vince Velasquez. Phillies swung at the first pitch way too much. Yeah, I definitely agree with that scenario. Yeah, the approach definitely wasn't the best. I think the umpire did not help their approach a little bit right there, just because the approach was probably affected by the umpire, calling literally anything in the strike zone, basically outside or anything. You just didn't know what he was going to call in that scenario. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't the best approach, because literally the starting pitcher for the Oakland Athletics, he only had 48 pitches through 5 innings, Jeffries. So Oakland in this entire game only threw 103 pitches total. So yeah, the approach by the Phillies today definitely was not the best. It definitely wasn't. I think the umpire affected it a little bit, but I don't think you gotta, let the pitcher throw strikes, find your pitch. And yeah, granted, a lot of those pitches early in the count, maybe they were right down the middle and they couldn't pass up on it. But it's 3 games into the season. I'm not going to overanalyze these things. I'm not going to, go overreact like some people do constantly, like they treat it like it's football. It's a 162 game season for a reason. Got 100, got 159 more left. So it's one game, and you got a huge series this week coming up with the New York Mets. And I want to say the Mets a little bit right here, because I know they played the Washington Nationals this weekend for a 4-game set. I think they did win the first couple of games there with the Nationals. So I want to go to the MLB schedule, just look at the New York Mets just to see how they're doing. So I think they won. Yeah, they won the first 3 games of that series, and currently they are losing 4-2 to the Nationals in the bottom of the 8th. So they could possibly be 3-1 in that series. So right now we're looking at this series upcoming with the New York Mets, and let's see the pitching matchups for this series with this New York Mets roster. So you're going to be having tomorrow 6:45. It's going to be Ranger Suarez going up against Taijuan Walker. And then you're going to have Tuesday. That's going to be Zack Wheeler's first appearance on the bump at 6:45. He's going to be up against Taylor Miguel. And then you're going to have Wednesday, 105 start. Aaron Nola is going to go up against Max Scherzer. So it's going to be a huge series. Both of these teams are very hyped coming into this season. The rivalry is definitely going to be there, especially with the Phillies fans and the Mets fans. This is going to be a very look series. You're going to be seeing the Mets a lot in these first 2 months. I think you're going to be seeing them 4 to 5 times. So yeah, and especially when they don't have Jacob deGrom, that could be a little bit huge for you. So the bats, they need to find a way, to break this game. Just throw it out in the trash. Find a way, the bats are going to be fine. This team is going to be fine. Let's not overreact. They had a bad game. They had a dud. Those games are going to happen. You're going to go through your slumps. You're going to go through your hot stretches. Like I said, it's a reason that it's 162 games in a season. You're going to have those stretches. Sadly, it just happened in the 3rd game of the season. And like I said, it's only game 3. There's plenty of more left. You got a huge series with the New York Mets coming up. You're going to have Ranger Suarez making his season debut tomorrow. And yeah, let's just see how it's going to work. We got a channel name in here saying a bummer game. Yeah, sucks. It definitely sucks that the offense went cold after, the hot couple of first games they had against the Athletics. Also 161 in one season. Let's go. Eflin's catch was cool. Yeah, Eflin I thought was pretty solid today. Sadly, his pitch count got run up thanks to the umpire and all that crap. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not going to constantly complain. I'm not going to constantly overreact about that. The bats just need to find a better approach, stop swinging at the first pitch, and just get ready and repped up for this Mets series coming up, because it's definitely going to be a huge one. So what are your thoughts on this video, everyone? What are your thoughts on this Phillies loss to the Oakland Athletics? Are you one of those people that tend to overreact, or are you just saying it is what it is? It's one game, and let's move on to the Mets at this point. So don't forget to leave those comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. The links are down in the description today as well. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that. And also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next.